Yeah, we're heading back now to 2014 because on this day, Carl Froch beat George Groves in front of a packed Wembley Stadium. Not quite sure how many were there. Let's speak to the man himself and say hello and good afternoon to the Cobra, Carl Froch. Hello, Carl. How are you?
Don't worry about how I am. You've stitched me up, haven't you?
I don't make those packages. That's the backroom team, all right?
Right, okay, I'll take that then.
Carl, just quickly, I was talking to Benny about this because we were both there that night.
Yeah, we were.
But I had a ticket for a mate of mine who didn't turn up. So there was actually 79,999 people there.
Devastated.
Listen, I always like finding out from people that were involved in such a massive sporting event what they remember from the night. Is there, apart from the punch and apart from the norm, is there like a particular moment from that evening that sticks out? It might be 20 minutes before you got in the ring or an hour after. Is there anything that jumps off the page when you look back at that night?
Well, to be honest, him coming in on the bus was a big one.
Yeah.
I thought he came in on the bus because I saw the bus when I got there. And then, obviously, Anthony Joshua was on the undercard, and he was fighting. He was in off. He finished off somebody off like he used to when he started his career. And just, I think it was the ring war. If I'm looking back and thinking, what can I remember? It was just standing on the platform with the pyrotechnics going off, the big flames and the lasers, and then the music you played there, that AC/DC shoot to throw, and that music kicking in. Then that's when I realised, bloody hell, this is massive. This is like, but I was enjoying it and taking it all in and smiling because I knew it was my last fight and I thought I need to enjoy this, and I wasn't nervous, so it was a totally different experience for me than what I'm usually feeling. I usually feel quite anxious. I'm quite a nervous fighter, which is good because that gets my adrenaline, my adrenal gland pumps around the blood, and I'm really like fully ready for it and ready for an action. But with that one, I was quite relaxed and I just took it all in and enjoyed it. So I just remember enjoying the night and the crowd and the big finish, the big right hand, because when that landed, it was the fight. There wasn't much happening in that boxing match. Then all of a sudden, the right hand detonated on his chin and rendered him unconscious in front of all them people. So it was over too quick for me.
Carl, when you talk about that fight at Wembley and the knockout, I mean, the knockout was devastating. When you go back to the first fight, and there was a little bit of controversy around the stoppage, you looked razor focused in the second fight. All of a sudden, like maybe you'd taken the first fight a little bit easier because I think you expected to beat him easily. But the second fight, I felt there was something different about you in that second one. Yeah,
definitely. I mean, the first one, I didn't take him too seriously because I just thought if I clip him on the chin with them little 10-ounce gloves, he's going to be out cold. That's just what I thought. And that was stupid, really, and a bit unprofessional of me. And I did a dance show with my partner for the first 3 or 4 weeks where I should have been in training camp. Then I came out of that dance show and then knuckled down and started training. But I was travelling up and down to Sheffield and I just didn't take it seriously. I'd kind of had enough. The desire was going, and I think I was looking at the finishing line. I was thinking to myself, I'm going to retire after this fight. But I just I knew he was going to be tough. I knew he was fast. I knew he was decent boxer because he won an ABA title. But I didn't think he was good enough. And I didn't think he belonged in there with me. So the first fight I didn't take seriously. That's why I looked a bit like I wasn't really bothered about it. And I don't know, I just wasn't on the button, really. And then the rematch, I stayed in Sheffield for 12 weeks, about 10 to 12 weeks. And I was 100% focused. I had a really good camp. I had some great sparring. My runs were amazing. I was super fit. I was properly ready. So when I walked to the ring, like I said, I knew it was my last ring walk. I enjoyed the moment. And I just thought, there's no way this kid, I mean, as good as he was, George Groves, give him credit, he went on to win a world title. But I just thought, there's no way he can beat me. He dropped me in the first round of the first fight. Then he hit me with absolutely everything, including the kitchen sink in the next 6-7 rounds. He just battered me around the ring, like ridiculously, beat me up like I've never been beat up before. I've been in some really good fights as well. I've never been beat up that bad in my life. And I managed to get the win. You know, it was controversial. But I just thought, if I'm 100% fit and focused and strong, and I've done the sparring, there's no way he can beat me. And I was absolutely right. The fight was close, but I was just warming up when that right hand landed. I was just getting close to him. I just managed to get my feet nearer to him and get in punching range where I could really start to hurt him around the body and head. So, yeah, that's about it, mate.
Carl, it's sort of done you a favour because as we were talking about the first fight, there was controversy at the end because when it was stopped, my understanding is George Groves was well up on the scorecards. And because of that, because there was so much public interest surrounding it, it went to that stadium fight. And stadium fights, I think, because of your second fight with George Groves, I think they're now the norm. But they didn't really happen, certainly in big stadiums like Wembley Stadium. When did you realise that this fight was so big that it needed to be held in a stadium? And initially, whose idea was it?
Well, I think it was probably within a week of all the reaction that we got from the press. I mean, you didn't have as much digital stuff, and social media wasn't as big back in 2014. It was still around. You had Twitter, Instagram was coming on board, and that we didn't have TikTok or anything like that. But it was when I saw the papers, and it wasn't just one day of paper. It was like day 2 and day 3 and day 4. They were still talking about it, and Eddie Hearn phoned me up, and I can remember I was in Dubai with my family having a bit of a break, and he rung my hotel room about 40 times because I was swerving him on the mobile phone. And then when I finally went into the hotel and took another call off him, and it had gone back and forth, I didn't really want to fight George again. I just thought, no, he's hard work he is, and he's just had his day. He's put me down and whatever. Now I want to move on and fight someone else. But it didn't take long for us both to realise, me and Eddie, that this is actually going to be massive. And he says, I think I'm going to try Wembley Stadium. We're probably going to have a go at that place. I thought he was mad, if I'm honest. I'm like, Wembley Stadium? Doesn't that hold about 80,000 people? I didn't actually know the number then, but he says, yeah, we'll go there. It's probably going to be that big. The reaction we've had from the press. So I've got to say, it was. I mean, Eddie's the promoter. It would have been his idea to go to Wembley, but as soon as I found that out, which was within a week, I just thought, this is going to be massive. This is going to be great. I've got to get the win. I wouldn't have happily retired on the back of that first win anyway, because it was a controversial stoppage and it was inconclusive. So I had to have the rematch regardless. And it was always going to happen. And then when the numbers came in and it was Sky pay-per-view again, then Wembley Stadium, I just thought, yeah, let's get this done. And that's why I took it seriously, and that's why I got the job done.
Carl, when you look at some of the fights you've been involved in, I mean, Jermaine Taylor's the one that probably jumps off the page to me, but you've got the Kessler fights twice, Andre Ward, Lucian Bute. Where does that Groves Froch fight number 2 rank in terms of some of the fights you've been involved in?
Well, the shame about it is that's kind of my legacy fight at Wembley Stadium, because it was 80,000 and it was a big rematch, a grudge match, and it captured the public's imagination. But my first fight with Jean Pascal was a great night because I became WBC world champion for the vacant title that Calzaghe vacated. And then I went on in my first title defence to fight Jermaine Taylor and got dropped for the first time in my career in round 3. Managed to climb back into the fight, run through 5, 6, 7, 8, just boxing and moving. And then round 9, 10, I was catching Jermaine Taylor. And I needed the stoppage in the last round, as you probably know, you've probably seen the fight. But I got the stoppage in the last round. And I was in the dying seconds of the last round. I retained my world title. Then after that, I signed into the Super 6 World Boxing Classic. And I fought Mikel Kessler, Andre Ward, Andre Durrell, Arthur Abraham, Glencoff Johnson. All right, I lost to Ward in the final. But it was just at the end of a great tournament. And I'd made a few quid. It was American TV broadcasters. But then I come back to England and took on unbeaten Canadian Lucian Bute. Awkward southpaw. Nobody thought I could win. And ring walking in Nottingham, my hometown, with all the people I went to school with, all my friends, all my family, doing that ring walk to No, There's No Easy Way Out, the Rocky theme tune. You know the one, there's no easy. I mean, to come into that and then climb in the ring and just absolutely destroy an unbeaten world champion in the manner in which I did, that's probably one of my best nights, to be honest. That was awesome. But after that, I got the Kessler rematch. And that was a great night at the O2 Arena. That was the biggest crowd I fought in front of up until Wembley. 20,000 at the O2 in a rematch against somebody like Mikel Kessler, who is a real warrior and a true gentleman and a good friend of mine. And that was just a great 12-round war, and the fans got a real treat that night. But to win that was awesome. And that's why I wasn't ready to carry on fighting. I was like, you know what, I've done it. I've done all I need to do. And then George Groves pops out the woodwork and gives me a beating in that first fight. And then that created the rematch. So I've had an amazing finish to what was a brilliant, glossy career. But I don't want to be remembered for just chinning Groves at Wembley in front of 80,000. I want people to look back at my career and have a look at the resume that I've fought against. And this time next week, I'll be flying out to Canastota in New York to be inducted into the International Boxing Hall of Fame. And I think that's going to be my defining moment. I'm taking Rob McCracken out there with me as well, my coach. So that's going to be amazing.
Wow, that will be fantastic. Let me ask you, when people look at you, your grey hair suggests you're well into your 50s, but you're only 45 at the moment, Carl. So
I've only got a couple of greys coming through. What are you on about?
There's a shampoo advert coming any day. I want to ask you about YouTube fighters and your spat with Jake Paul and the possibility you get. Realistically, hand on heart, have you come close to getting back in the ring? Would you do it if the money was right? Is it just for column inches? Where are you at with this?
Well, listen, I'd never get back in the ring against a professional fighter who's at professional level. So I'd never fight somebody like Callum Smith or the current super middleweight world champion or any of the light heavyweight. I'd probably come back. If I was going to come back, it'd be light heavyweight. I'm realistic. I retired when I was 37 nearly. Like a month before my 37th birthday when I retired. I retired because I couldn't do it anymore. One, the desire was gone. and 2, the injuries were catching up with me. I've got a young family at home, really young kids at the time. I mean, they're all getting older now, obviously, but I couldn't compete at world level anymore. So to answer your question, no, I wouldn't box again on a professional capacity. But I don't consider a fight with somebody like Jake Paul a professional boxing match. It's almost like a white collar fight for me. I could get in there, take my time, just have a good time, have a bit of fun, and make a bucket load of money. And have to do. It's very low risk and very, very high reward. So I'd definitely take one of them sort of fights.
Have you been close to agreeing that fight or any fight like that?
Listen, Jake Paul piped up and he started giving me some stick. I answered him back and then he went quiet. I even said, because he said he wants me to fight Anderson Silva, and I said, listen, I'll fight Anderson Silva and you on the same night. And he didn't get back to me. So he realised, I think when he lost to Tommy Fury, I think he realised that he don't belong in a professional boxing ring with professional boxers, because he's not good enough. But fair play to him. He's making money. He's doing what he's doing. He's fighting. Is he fighting Nate Diaz next?
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd fight a YouTuber. I'd probably have a roll around with Conor McGregor. I'd like Conor McGregor to get into the boxing ring, because he's running his mouth a little bit lately, and he's got Eddie Hearn cheerleading him in the background, laughing at every crap jokes he cracks, and that's getting a bit boring to listen to. But yeah, that'd be nice to. I think that'd be a good fight. Would that be a celebrity boxing match? I'm not sure. It would. An ex-MMA fighter against a retired world champion. I've just put a piece on my YouTube channel, Froch on Fighting. You can have a look at that, and I'll give Conor McGregor a bit more stick. So get tuned.
Listen, I'm going to let you go because it sounds like Conor McGregor's trying to call you. But thank you so much for your time. We idolise speaking to you, Carl. We love it when any ex-sports person comes on, but especially from the world of boxing. We're big fans of yours, and I think it's very admirable you got out the boxing ring when you did, and you're looking great, Nick, as well. And we really appreciate your time.
Nice one. Thanks for the big up as well on the 9 years today since the 80,000 at Wembley Stadium. I appreciate that.
79,999.
See you later, guys.
Thanks, Carl. There you go, the wonderful Carl Froch. He's brilliant to speak to.
But do you know what, though? And I'm not saying it because he was just on, but he used to be one of my favourites.
Yeah.
Do you know what? With him,
yeah,
you know exactly what you're getting. And I remember that Jermaine Taylor fight. I'd got him from a night out when he fought Jermaine Taylor.
Yeah.
And I caught the fight, I think, from round 3. And I remember thinking, he ain't winning this. And the last round, he just punched his head off, stopped him in the 12th round. What a fight. But yeah, what a warrior. It does exactly what it says on the tin.
Yeah.
Use that yesterday.
It's fantastic.
talkSPORT Drive with Andy Goldstein. Monday to Friday afternoon from 4. On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.